everybody, and welcome back to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing? I hope you are well. Yes, we are greeted by some terriers this evening because, well, I've been doing this for years now and I wanted to play with some terriers. So, we're doing that. Luckily, I even bought one in just in honour of your trip that you're going on. Nice Isle of Wight bunker on there. That one's not getting chopped up, that one's staying as it is. All this lot, on the other hand, this lot are fair game. So my plan this evening is that you lot will have some say in what we're doing here. Now, do you have a particular terrier that you like? And that you would like to see me model? Because I'm totally down for modelling stuff that you want to see. After all, the plan is to do the entire class eventually. So I was hoping there'd be a few more of you here for this. And you could all pick lots of terriers. Good evening, Killian. How are you? I hope you are well. Well, there's me missing out on a nice LNWR loco on eBay. What a shame. Never mind. So yeah, I am not bad, thanks. So yeah, we got a nice selection of old terriers and one new terrier hidden amongst them all. That all need identities. Oh, this one's keeping its identity, to be fair. This one could, but I've got another one in the same livery. Sorry about that, just had to sneeze. Thought you'd rather I muted the microphone. Aren't I, like, a professional? What lies, Sophia? What lies you tell? Well, unless it's this one. This one, fair enough. But yeah, so what I want to do is I want input from yourselves as to which terrier should be created. And so the only one I intend on keeping its current identity is this one. But I've got a Stepney, so I don't need a Stepney. And I've got a Stepney, so I don't need a Stepney. I've got another Kentonese Sussex Green Sutton. We definitely don't need any old tooling Isle of Wight ones, because, you know, the new tooling Isle of Wight ones exist and they're fantastic. And good evening, Paderborn. How are you? I hope you are well. Hydration is important, everyone. I've got a bag full of terrier bits as well. Because that'd be important when you're chopping up terriers. Many Isle of Wight ones. Well, I've got one to start with. And face it, when it comes to Isle of Wight terriers, there really is no competition between the old tooling and the new tooling. The old tooling just can't be an Isle of Wight terrier. I mean, it could represent them before they got the extended bunkers, but, you know, effort. And good evening, Alexander. How are you? I am very well, thanks, Paderborn. I don't know where very well came from. I've been saying not bad to everyone else. But yeah, so the aim of the stream is to make some terriers that have correct details. Possibly even get a bit of paint applied to them. Take the terrier body off, put a P-class body on. What a terrible suggestion. Terrible, terrible suggestion. But so, for doing that, I would very much like your input as to what terriers you would like to see modelled. I have to sell my freshwater and buy a new tooling. Ah, so my evil plan of making people buy more terriers works. I know a good model shop. Can sell all sorts there. But yeah, the new tooling ones do look absolutely fantastic. Terrible suggestion. All the terrier puns tonight. That's the appropriate time for them. I've just realised my Isle of Wight one is missing one of its safety valves. I will have to hunt that down. It's very odd because it's spent its entire life sat on Oak Hill until I put the display cabinets up the other day. And since then it's lived in the display cabinet. Good evening, Thomas. How are you? I hope you are well. It is a fantastic bark of locos, isn't it? We're just we're looking at what we're deciding what ones we want to model with suggestions from yourselves. All right, thanks. Had one amazing weekend. Mechanics at Spa Valley, O'Keefe, and Scottish Region makeover. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. I forgot they were down already. Otherwise I would have made an effort to get up there. Lovely terriers. Indeed they are, Lewis. We don't sell terriers to the general public though. We do if they order new ones. See, there's the difference. The public order one and I order one. There are no suggestions so far. There's the problem, Thomas. Like this Stepney needs to go back into umber, so that's something that has to happen. But it needs an identity when it gets there. And this one needs to stay as it is, but get some LSWR features on it, such as the Drummond pattern dome. I've already got a Stepney, so no. This one could stay or could change because I've got another one in Kent and East Sussex livery as Sutton. The 812 is with us until October, as 419 I think is hanging around until next week. I think that's a shame that it's gone next week. I would have liked to see that as well, but I won't get time. Just out of interest and for a free plug for the shop, how much would the new terrier cost? Good question. I can't remember what the RRP is. But standard discount rate applies, which can be found in Discord. I could really have started this with my paints slightly closer to me. I meant to do something with steppers, maybe wait till I've sold on that 1/6 out TARDIS and sell it to me. Well, I'm not going to sell it to you. See, what I could do with this one is I could chop the front wheels off and put some smaller ones on and do it as Box Hill in its 240 configuration. Why not a Stroudley Goods Green Terrier? Of course, it's been number 72. I already have Fenchurch in Goods Green. That is why. I can already hear you calling for me to chop the front wheels off Stepney. Your vicious monsters wanting me to mutilate Stepney like that. But I'm going to do it. Where did I put that set of wheels I had earlier? There's that set of wheels I had earlier. Two steppers. They are two of the ones I need. I have loads of Stepneys. Absolutely loads of them. Now, Tom, that's just mean. And how are you this evening? But we are, of course, going to be chopping up Stepney. There's something delightfully evil about that, isn't there? Something I've wanted to do for a while. On live stream. Not necessarily with Stepney. But it's a reasonably easy conversion. The body stays pretty much as is, so that's nice and simple. Add a spark arrestor and make a Hailing Island engine. Ah, that's a good idea. See, that's something we'll have to do. See, the hardest part, the Stepney conversion. The 240 conversion. Is that the springing in the middle needs to go away. So you take that out and you replace it with a bit of plastic card. Which wants to be nice and easy. The same thickness as this step up here. So you're just filling in where this is lower. But no, I'm quite happy to kill a Stepney, Thomas. It's not a problem. I'd much rather do that than sell it. So we take our bit of 30 foul plastic card. Cut it to the appropriate size. Well, it's Stepney number we hardly need. Right, that needs a little bit more shaving off of it. But it's only a little bit, so we're going to file it. That still needs a little bit the other way now. And that fills in rather nicely. Just like that. Although that feels like it's actually, yeah, that's a bit too thick. So what we are going to do is not use that one, although we will want that one in a bit. Oh well, I can't find the one I actually want. So this one that's slightly less rounded on its fish belly end will have to do. Oh, I've seen blue about anything, Rose. So now that we have marked where that's going, we're going to use the rounded file. I'm just putting a bit of a groove in so the wheel sits slightly better. Good evening, Alan. How are you? Yes, indeed, we are rooting for Terriers tonight. I opened it up to suggestions, and we are currently converting this old tooling Terrier to a 240. I hate getting the wheels back in round the pickups on these sometimes. That looks to be sitting much better. Did someone say step instruction? Good, good. Indeed we did, Alex, and good evening. How are you? I am currently destroying a Stepney. Now I'm just cutting these off roughly to start with. All the way around, just to allow me to play with these a bit easier. Yes, that's much better. That's where it wants to sit. What about Terrace? Are we? Good evening. Yes, we are. How are you this evening, William? I hope you are well. Somewhat between meh and fine as per usual. Does seeing me destroy a terrier not make you feel better? Genuinely seeing the rods being snipped and made me feel a tad uneasy. I think I want that fash more than I let on. Oh dear. Oh dear, Thomas. So because I am clever, I have misplaced my screwdriver for actually doing this. And these terrier ones are a right pain. There we go, I've got this side. Do help a little. I thought it would. So is this Box Hill Elms Life Correct? This will be Box Hill. I don't actually have a model of Box Hill's name on it. So we're chopping up Stepney instead. And it will get a new name. I've got lots and lots of terrier name transfers. Yes, this will become the 240 version. Yes, lots of name transfers for IEG. Ginny didn't realise how much I wanted it to that moment. Therefore, sorting out ones on targeted, so can't let them all be killed. Well, if it helps, Thomas, I've got 3 more of these Stepneys that will be losing their identities. Because I've already got one as a well-detailed up Stepney. However, these wheels will be put to good use. And a new terrier will be born because of them. I mean, it might not appreciate being born, but there we go. I'd love to see at least one you own, at least one in your collection become one of the free sold Shropshire and Gumshoe Railway. Problem is I can't find out much info on what livery they carried. Hang on, I do think I have info on that. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, that is annoying. It doesn't. It mentions the liveries prior to them getting there. GWR ones, we get the best terriers. I would like to do a GWR one as well, actually, at some point, which is weird because I used to have one and repainted it. So now I'm going to cut down the rods a little bit more. If you see photos of these, you will see that the rods that were on had the fixing nut forward for the front part to be attached, so we'll be leaving roughly enough for that. So we get something that looks a bit like that. SECR on. See, I've got 2 of the SECR one, so one of those needs to be re-identified at some point as well. My question now is, are you going to be soldering 2 rod pieces so it doesn't have a big hole, or you leave the big hole? I will be soldering. See, you knew what was coming already, didn't you? So there we have them both rounded off a bit. Saw a mention on Colonel Stevens' website suggesting they may have been playing Sage Green. Interesting. Yes, well, because they didn't buy them direct from the Brighton, did they? And it's noted they were still in. Yeah, they got them from the Admiralty, or at least two of them, 638 and 683. Went from the Admiralty. Oh, yeah, so all three went from the Admiralty to the Shropshire and Montgomery ship. And when they left Admiralty service, they were still wearing Brighton livery, but I don't have info on what they got painted into when they got there. So now I'm going to take the paint off the rod. Because it's much easier to solder when you don't have a load of paint in the way of your metal. And B, because these parts wouldn't actually have been painted anyway. Indeed, it's a third hand at that point, yes. I have a photo of, I want to say 681 as an Admiralty engine wearing goods black, lined, Loco Department Brighton written on the side. It might have been one of the others, but it's definitely one of the Admiralty ones. Jenny didn't know. As me, I always tend to do it that way. Mess up, scan and edit the rod, then print and apply some metal to cut down the rods from some brass. Certainly one way of doing it. Photo them on the SMR shows them being plain, but obviously without colour it's hard to tell anything else. Yes, it is rather. Wonderful little anvil. Must see about getting one similar. They're fantastic. I love my little anvil. All the photos I've seen in the naval service, they were so dirty they looked to be unlined black. Hang on a second. There is one in this book. I have a paper copy of this one, so just finding it because the book isn't very well ordered. Not one way, it's the way things would like knowing me. Well, you haven't seen me not mess it up yet, so you could be lucky. I used to have this page saved because I was making a model of this one. But apparently no more. Right, could this be the right section at last? In this silly book that's all over the place? No, clearly not, because I've moved on to the next chapter now. Aha, here we go. Let's try and get the book in around the camera. It is 638. And there it is, still in its Brighton livery. I doubt you can make it out on camera, but you can faintly see the double lining along there and along the bottom. So that is formerly Millwall. That is around 1920 in Scotland. So that is what would later, one of the ones that would later go on to the Shropshire and Montgomery Railway. Battler. There is one on the S&M. Not that you can tell what livery it's wearing there. Although, in fact, there is Daphne on the S&M. I can see some lining there and on the back. In fact, you can even see it on the camera there. So they were lined. There is definitely double lining there. I can see the same on the back of the tank, and I can see some on the bottom here as well. So they weren't plain. Well-travelled terriers. Indeed, well-travelled terriers. First return to Scotland. I imagine a lot of Gorn tanks were gone by then, though. I expect so. Yes, I can't remember when they went. Good evening, Red. How are you? I hope you are well. After conversion 240, Box Hill's painted goods green, but line like improved engine green with the name Box Hill. 81 was painted umber with LBNS. Yes, so I've already got 81 in umber as a 240. I'm not convinced by the goods green argument on Box Hill. I never have been. The lining is definitely different to regular improved engine green. But every photo I see of Box Hill as a 240, that colour around the edge and that colour there are very definitely different colours. I am not convinced it wore green. And the shade, say even on the top of the cab there, the shade difference you're seeing, if my lights weren't so shiny, is about what you would expect to see on an improved engine green logo in a black and white picture. Yes, you are correct, Killian. There is definitely some lining on the wheel arch in that picture. SML number 9 Daphne, formerly 83 Ellsworth 683, was actually sold by the Admiralty to the Dormont Distillery in Gorton, then to the S&M, purchased by the SR as a spares logo in 1932. Quite a well-travelled logo. Indeed, very well-travelled. Excellent. Glad to hear it, Red. I now want 5 unrelated Stepney Terriers. Thanks to that image of Daphne, I need Fred Velocity. Yes, do it. Definitely do it. And yes, it would appear they kept delivering an SMR service. Colonel Stephen's website needs telling. Well, Apparently so, yes. Hydration is important. Bradley says good screen, mind you, the edging on passenger screen is darker than good screen, so who knows. Yes, indeed. I'm aware Bradley says it. I'm still not convinced. The fact it is exactly the shade I expect to see on an improved engine green loco. Just leaves me with a bit of was it really? It's obviously not improved engine green as we know it. But I'm not convinced it's goods green either. Has different lining for both of them. And I think this better matches the lining on it than it does the lining on improved engine green, so it's a great starting point. It's a photo of Daphne sat easily in 39 without rods, rather nasty hole in its bunker, but otherwise intact. Picture of her there in 45, still sat at Eastleigh. And still not looking great. Pretty sure there were locos named Fred and Velma. Not sure about Shaggy and Scooby though. Ah, there must have been. So this Terrier conversion goes better than that freight train on Friday. Freight train on Friday. Perhaps it is improved engine green, or even improved engine green. Yes, definitely, Alan. Definitely. Wow, she did a lot by then. She looks better in the 39 photo. Well, I assume she spent all those years just kind of sat there. There's my stick. I was going to say I had you a second ago. So for this, where I am soldering to the rod, I know it doesn't look like it should take solder, but I did this on my other one, so it does. Where's the block? That's probably going to make this a bit easier. What I am going to do, these obviously need their paint removing as well. I forgot about that. I'm going to solder these washers to it. It's like the SR didn't need our spares though. Well, unless they took out something you can't see, yes. They certainly didn't want her for anything cosmetic, did they? I should probably actually take the rod off to do this, because I actually need to take the paint off at the other end of it anyway. And there is our rod with its much smaller hole. Hornby supplied all the pieces, they just didn't join them all together. That would be way too much effort, wouldn't it? This one does not want to lose its paint. Take Hornby supplied all the parts. This is still a Daypole one. Because let's not forget that loco that is always been a part of the Hornby range, and Daypole can't possibly make for Rails of Sheffield because it's definitely a Hornby loco. Started life as a Daypole loco. Found two threads actually. One is Borrow's Well Tank Preservation, the other is RSH built J94. Borrow's Well Tank, much better. Hornby, Daypole, who can even tell the difference these days? Oh, trust me, I can tell the difference. One of them gets its paint jobs wrong. One of them gets its paint very wrong. Daypole doesn't sell paint with illegal stuff in. Exactly. One of them gets the paint jobs wrong. One of them gets the paint wrong. I found 8 threads, not including Windle, and 2 Daphnes. No Velma, Shaggy, or Scooby though. Well, I have to try harder. So there is our newly aligned rods with those holes going straight through the middle of the old ones. So in reality, I actually want to take these off. That I will do, and do this properly, because these end ones are easier to take off than the middle ones when you've lost your screwdriver for doing it with. In a Ziploc bag with my back-to-back gauge. So it'd be great to find them. Tall Valley's no nameplates for Shaggy. I still wish they'd gone with my suggestion of Andrew. I can't see why they turned it down. No, that joke will never get old. It's amazing how well this paint stays on here after 30 years, isn't it? Generally, the Wibbler at Tall Valley is massively annoying me. As if the actual railway company has never renamed and repainted logos Smart Jubilees. I know. It's not like it's a permanent change either. I don't get why people are so upset about it. But there we go, that's just me. Probably be like that. It'll probably be like that paint they put on Truro for that photo of it in BR Black, where it could be washed off again afterwards. It's not like it needs to be on there for long. Hydration, still important, everyone. Yeah, I buy some stuff where the paint peels after about a week. You're buying the wrong stuff. Talking of buying stuff and paint, Sophia, you're not going to believe what I sold. Sure, people at the time hated the MWR Greater Britons that were painting odd liveries or the tartan logo from back in the 1840s. Probably. I'd be more surprised if they didn't. But yeah, our strangely coloured friend from the shop is gone. Only modelers now hate the tartan crowd. No, it's easy. Just get yourself some tartan paint and get painting away. See, this is the putting them back in that's hard. Our glossy red friend is gone. A Triang B12 painted in gloss red. Red. I should have to pay someone to take it away. I didn't. They paid me the full asking price. That thing was hideous. Well, I mean, it wasn't great, but as a runner, it was fantastic. You do not often get locos that run as well as that did. Even for an XO4, that was an impressive runner. The determination behind it. Obviously, I say this as someone who loves XO4 motors. Sad things, I'm pretty sure people have done handicap in double O. I'd be very surprised if they hadn't. Ah, fair enough. Yeah, that's one of those things. I'd definitely be more surprised if people hadn't done that than if they had. Such a good run and got a special description on the website. It did indeed. That way round. And there we go. 1040 Terrier. Where did that screw go? It's the next thing we've got to do is take a chunk out the running board. Because the wheel needs to sit slightly lower, and we also need to clip off the brake gear. At least Batman haven't hopped on the, well, not so much bandwagon as circus wagon. Well, yes. Type handicap locomotive into Google image, and with the top two rows, 3 different models of it. Sorry, 4. Oh god, that's terrible. We have a compound in the shop, you can have a go at yourself. Don't offer them that. I'm not selling it to them if they want to do that to it. So you're going to shorten the body to match the 040 chassis. No, I'm going to turn it into a 240. Don't be silly, Tom. Did the brakes come off as well, or was it just the rods? Because I know it was a reversible change on purpose. Yes, the brakes came off as well. That's going to be slightly harder to snip at. That's okay, Alex. I couldn't let someone do that. I want to be a bit more careful here because I only want to take the brake gear off, and I'm going to take everything off there. So let's snip those. And snip away the majority of the brake, and maybe we can get in there and snip it. We can. There we go. Anyone heartless after that to come out should be from the hobby. I'm not sure I have that authority yet, but when I do, change that back to the knife and clean up the last bits of that. Well, you suggested it, Sophia. I might have to dock your pay for even suggesting it, honestly. So there goes the front brake. So now I say we need to, just here where these lugs are sticking up, go down a bit. I know this because I've done it before. And I know roughly how much I need to do it because I've done it before. But if you don't do it, your wheel don't touch the floor. Still aiming for Friday. Shh, don't tell anyone. So what we are going to do here is just use the saw blade to score right across the middle where it needs to be. Good evening, Andy. How are you? I hope you are well. You join us in the midst of making a 240 Terrier. Excellent. Yesterday and this morning I've been running my Hornby drum and Ofro saddle tank for Ranger BR Marine Mark 1s, BR Stanley coaches, 2 Marine Mark 1 coaches, 2 Blood and Custom Stanley coaches. Very nice. Very nice. Pretty sure sawing apart Terriers is frowned upon by the RSPCA. Am I allowed to file them down a bit so that I can give them shorter legs? think we still need to go down a little bit more with that groove. I had a bit of track here earlier. I could plonk it on and test this with. As much as that's not very nice. Still maintain overall terrier beat cute as a button. Enough of the animal abuse. Yeah, we don't want to abuse actual animals. But wait, if you like 040 terriers, I can show you a terrier that's only got 4 wheels on it. There you go. How's that, Red? Is that nice? Is that cute enough for you? That is Shoreditch on the scrap line. Just terriers. Yeah, exactly. Just terriers. Next thing you know, you're going to shrink a greyhound. No, I've got no use for a greyhound, unfortunately. So, Flat Rival, and like the party, we want to say hello and hit that like button. Good evening, Bob. How are you? I hope you are well. Isn't it nice to have our end web back so you can post about Cambrian Street again? I should place them in lads with damage off and away you go. Yeah, it'd be fine. I'm not going to lie, I am genuinely tempted to model a terrier like that. You know, when you're modelling the whole class, adds a bit of variety if one's being scrapped. Missing a few bits. It is rather. About a bulldog then? No, but I will be getting a Duke dog at some point for my Bluebell collection. Shoreditch looks like a half decent captain from a Shay. It did, yes. Right, I think we are approaching the right depth now. But I am once again going to have to thread this round these blooming pickups. And again, because it popped back out. Just wants to be fiddly and annoying. So we're going to stick a couple of screws in there so I can actually flip it around without it all falling out. I've had Jessica to have Oren about saddle the image has been lost. Bet Andy you run site with man. I would imagine he was very mad with the way that the old hosts handled it. And honestly, I had a more professional setup when I was running a web server out of my living room on a computer over an ADSL connection. Seriously, wish I knew what I've done with that bit of track. Hang on a second. There we go. I have a different bit of track now. I'd imagine Andy was delivering. Hopefully, this new company will be better. Well, they are now hosting with the company that actually make the software, which I think is the best way to go. Yeah, we're almost there, but not quite. I'm just glad I backed all my images up. Yes, so in theory, all the images from the 31st of May last year and earlier will return. They're all there and they just need to be indexed onto the site properly. Which, let's face it, previous reboot of the site, it's taken up to 2 weeks for things to return. So we'll give that some time. But yeah, everything from the 1st of June onwards is gone. Which is a shame. Means I still somehow have the most posts on the Pug Bash thread. It does, yes. Queen of the Pug Bashes. Much better than being Queen of Hastings. I have a future Pug Bash here, but I can't tell you anything else about it. Glad I haven't got anything RM Web anymore, but there were some threads I was meaning to look through which are not totally devoid of photos. Feel for those thread creators. Yeah. Yeah, after I read it, I realised you meant now as well, Alex. Don't worry. More animal abuse bashing pugs. Oh, I know, right? Terriers and pugs, no chance around here. I have them cloud type, but will take time to reload some of them. May just do a bit of time, concentrate on modelling. Yeah, see, I think anything I've lost isn't important and I won't be doing it. What one person has done that I think is a really good idea is they've put a note in their signature. If any photos are missing, send me a PM and I will try and replace them on this post. So because that's in their signature, it now appears on all of their posts, and it means they only have to replace ones that people actually come and ask about. Royal Scot may be coming to the battlefield and Maniacs Valley Heritage Railway. Ooh, very nice. Okay, I'll give you one more clue for my Pug Bash, actually. Because this is... this is going to be my entry for the Pug Bash competition. So, what could one of those have to do with a pug? I'll leave you with that. The SVR stand for is going to the WSR Spring Gala CR439. Well, hey. Good when locos get about and more people get to see them. Unless they go to Didcot and get killed. Never lend your locos to Didcot. Kind of want to do a Pug Bash, but I know I'd need to figure out how to remotor it properly so I can keep the cab end free, as I cannot stand the motor position in the pugs. You're talking of the little pugs, aren't you? It's the name of my layout. Ah, fair enough. Talking of parts, I might need to talk to you about possibly building me the high-level chassis design for the LMY Pug body. I am happy to do that. You know that the kit needs a lot of the parts off the original chassis as well, I assume. Because, yeah, that's a thing. It's the name of my layout. Ah, Terrier Pug. Mega Pug, would that be a tug or a Terrier? Might have a German project of a long close cake bot challenge. Right. I'm going to go grab my little pug just to show something off. Back in a second. One does return. So would I just need to send you the pug as well then? Yes. So this pug here that I have left the roof and back off the cab, yeah? To make a point, this pug here not only has a motor in it, but it's DCC fitted. Can be done. You can see the big, bulky, open frame motor there. That is DCC fitted and motorised and runs beautifully. With all the cab detail. I did an open cab pug battery motor with the motor entirely housed in the cab backhead once. Photos probably were on RM. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That were a good one, that. I liked that, Tom. No, the horn be cheapo over I take it's called a pug, but to me pug is a little tiny blind with an awkward positioning. It's like Ginty is the 3F. Well, the Caledonian pugs are pugs. Whether you want to call them that or not, they are. Still want to bash a Nelly into Gladstone from old Mr. Porter. Do it. Do it, Sophia. Do you think if I sent RM a $5 they won't reload some of my images of the mistakes I made? You can always try, Bob. You can always try. Detail on the old NY pugs, very respectable, just a horrid mechanism that lets it down. Yes. Yes, indeed. But as I say, motorised and DCC fitted. Okay, fair enough. Might not be soon though. I need to wait until the 51L brass pug chimney come back in stock, which I don't know if it ever will. Fair enough, Alex. You keep telling me this, Lewis, and I keep telling you, you would be better to start with a kit rather than buying a loco and replacing the body and the chassis. So why don't you stop telling me that you're going to do something that is a really bad idea? It's a terrible place to start to make an E1R. I don't tell you this because I don't want you to do it. I tell you this because it would be better. You would be better off not doing it because of the amount of differences there are. If you're not good at kit building, you won't be good at doing that then. Because what you need to do, when you open your E1, what you will need to do is take the body off and throw it away, and then get the chassis that you've got left and throw it away. and then start again with something else because it's not a suitable starting point. If you can't build a kit, you can't turn an E1 into an E1R. Despite being rebuilds, they are surprisingly different engines. E1R's better than E2s, no. No, I'm not convinced they are, actually. I think an E2 is better than an E1R. I'm going to refill my hydration vessel because it's empty. So you go to Double O'Neill, seriously want to attempt a motor plate in exchange for modern motors to freeze the cab up, which can only be done on the original Airfix tooled chassis. Well, you've seen mine. Latest Apple Hornby version. How the motor just isn't possible. You need to mount it on the front driver rather than the rear one. Do you? Where is my motor? Where is my motor mounted to? Oh, you're talking 14XX now. Ah, fair enough. I thought we were still talking pugs. You don't want to know what I do to 14XXs. I've got a nice modern one in the shop though. Did I just hear some form of compliment aimed at an E2? What madness is this? No, you didn't. Hydration is important. We've got a nice modern 14XX in the shop. None of this Dapol Hornby Airfix nonsense. There's maybe 0.5 millimetre there that we still need to go. Aren't we glad we did this one first? Really need another DJ Hatton's 14 cents, but his fifth pod fucking one you have isn't right annoying. Yes, I remember you saying when I got it in, it is rather annoying. Smaller motor, you can potentially mount one in the same space, crankshaft it so you can be direct drive rather than having to use extra failure point. Yeah, but why use the older model when you can just buy a newer one? Buy a second-hand one so that you know that it runs. Well, in fact, you have to buy a second-hand one now, don't you? But you know my point. I mean, that's general rule with model railways these days anyway, isn't it? It's amazing just how much material these actually have on them for you to go through, isn't it? Where's me? There it is. Get some of the crud off the file. Older models are cheaper, main reason I do it. Yeah, but the new tooling is a lot better. The only thing I don't like about DJ Hatton's ones is the lack of dome join moulding. But apart from that, they are lovely things if they run well. Newer ones aren't great for servicing. Tried fixing a mate's Hornby Oliver once. We had just had an airfit chassis instead of a wheel swap because of the newer design. Right, but I meant the DJ Hatton's ones, not the Airfix Hornby Dapol ones. Newer ones be newer. If I keep a new one, I would need a solder, etc. And if you build one out of a Rapido E1, you're going to need to be able to drill through a die-cast chassis. Or, alternatively, what you would have to do, because drilling through a die-cast chassis and being accurate and getting all that working is going to be way too much effort, you'll need a new chassis for it. That is the correct wheel arrangement. So what you'd have to do is be able to solder so you can put that new chassis together. Do you see the problem there, Lewis? Also, butchering a Rapido model feels like heresy. It does, rather. I'm not sure the E4 chassis would be right either. I'd need to double check that in the book, though. On second thoughts, maybe I should get an E1 and keep it stock. I mean, that's a great idea. That's an absolutely fantastic idea, Lewis. You know, I genuinely tell you not to do this because it would be an extremely hard starting point. It would not be a good place to do it from. It's not that I don't want you to do it, it's that you won't, it's the work required won't be worth it. Still on the old ones, but yeah, never had an issue dismantling their fit design chassis and putting it back together again. Had to do it twice to make my ones run better. Yeah, but why not just get a new one, is my question. You have to have the right wheelbase, though, Will. That's the problem. There we go, we're on the rails now. But obviously now, there is a lot of play in there. It's a shame that wheel is so close to the contacts there. But not quite, so they will need replacing. What I am going to do for now is just take them off, desolder them. But I would like it to have 6-wheel pickups. I'd need to mount that to the plastic box because it doesn't want to go on the metal chassis with its metal in it. So I plan to get a few German steam locomotives. Nothing wrong with German steam locomotives at all. Modern ones do look nice, but I don't like the price. Would rather go older that's nice and cheap than follow those with money to spare and be a sheep. Please, no, I'm not being daft for the rhyming. You are being daft. Much rather get a modern one with modern levels of detail. I've got some French locos in the shop if you want to try that instead, Lewis. Don't have anything German at the moment. Oh, and I've got some Swiss N-gauge. Yeah, they're not going on right now. I'm going to need to think about how they're going to go on. And anyway, they do work. It was only the middle set that wasn't any good. And that was sort of my own fault. But just so we don't get any shorts in the meantime, I'm just going to put a bit of heat shrink on there. Oh no, I need to update the bot. Hang on, Lewis, hang on. Don't close it, that would be silly. So much generally avoid old locos if possible. Yeah, it's much better to get modern ones if you can. Dutch steam is even better. I'll take your word on that. You can do the Terrier command again now, Lewis. World moves on. I'd rather not have detail levels that predate my birth. Yeah. Is it? I like going for mid-range looking ones, do them up, and go modern and not be able to do anything of note. More satisfying that way. I mean, what you might as well do then is buy kits. Plenty come up cheap on eBay. And then it's really satisfying because you've done the whole thing yourself and you get to decide how much detail it has. It's great to have passenger service operating again on the SVR this weekend. One diesel, Pig 1501, double header of 7714 and 813 all running normality perhaps. Sounds absolutely fantastic, Bob, honestly. Last night I dreamt Gary sold me a new Talking Rocket for 50 quid. You'll be lucky. If one comes in the shop that I can sell for 50 quid, I'm having it. Are you sure you weren't just dreaming about my new big tech rocket, which is absolutely huge? I have no idea what to do with it. It's like butchering red and double R1s. Don't you just? It's great because it makes them really easy to sell. If you don't buy it, she'll cut it up. Heard there was a bit of problem 1501 on the platform. Sold an old rocket for twice that last week. We did indeed. My subconscious just put what it thought it was worth. There was that rocket on eBay. What, my rocket? I got my rocket off eBay. £50 and 5p to be precise. That's an interesting price. You'd never get it for that price off me because I don't do these weird numbers when I'm pricing stuff. So now what we need to do, a bit of plastic card in here to hold these wheels down a bit more. Where's that bit I had earlier? Because that would be ideal. I'd need to double layer it, but it'd be ideal. I don't want it to sit completely tight, just tight enough. Ah, the non-runner. Yes, I remember now. Apparently 1501 overshot one of the platforms. That was silly of it. That's better. Never use a knife like I do, everyone. Not if you value things like having fingers. Remember, if you use a knife like I do, you end up with things like this. And I assure you, you don't want that. But on a couple of trains from Surfer Railways over the years that I've overshot the platforms, it happens. Yes. I haven't, but yes. I'm sure it does. And that little bit backwards you have to go to get back on the platform. That's just, you know, some extra riding time. Oh, so we did. What is everyone up to this evening? I do like hearing about all your projects. Please do tell. I've just completed a very large scale rocket out of wood in my downtime. As long as it's no longer than the length of the line, I suppose it's okay. Yeah, exactly, Bob. I'm not sure what's a fair bit the way the person. Fair bit by the way the person told me about it. Oh. Well, that was silly then. But as I say, they just got, you know, a little bit of extra ride for free. Don't complain. Plumbing pickups on these things. For old in general, like Legion, I'm not going for an early if it's older, but anything between 2010 and 9 days is fair game. My butts, fair enough. Design something from the SER. Ooh, interesting. Early Triang, I mean, not Airfix. Yeah, I assumed that from, yeah. Started to add a core underlay to my track, ready for wiring. Ooh, fantastic. Exciting times. Thought I typed something wrong there. Repainting an older O-scale wooden model New York Central caboose. Ooh. That reminds me, I need to print some O-scale Brighton for you, don't I, Andy? Nice ballast wagon. Yeah, that turns freely enough. So there we have our 240 chassis. Did some work on Eastbourne, my director's saloon, and started an LNWR coach kit. Oh, you have been busy. You should hydrate after all that hard work. So that leaves our boxer in almost the right condition, you know. It needs wing plates, but of course, being me, I forgot to print off lots of my 3D printed wing plates that were designed by Killian. Are the wing plates available on your Shapeways, Killian? Because we should totally be directing people there. If they are. They are. We should and direct via me. So there you go. If you want, they are nice things, and as I say, I forgot to print any off. But they are a full replacement for the smoke box door and the wing plates for the old Terriers. I was going to batch print a load earlier, but I forgot. I definitely recommend getting some though, if you're doing work on the older tooling Terriers. Also thought about taking birch coats out of their boxes. Didn't happen though. Well, you're gonna hate it when you have to fit proper couplings to them, because yeah, that was not fun. Have to completely dismantle the whole carriage to get the old stuff out. Aha, thank you, Alex. Oh, I was just looking for all that. But you beat me to it, because once again, you are great mod. My Google food snacks again. But yeah, look, there we go. 240 Terrier. In need of some wing plates, a new name, and a bit of paint. And I somehow forgot to remove the paint from that conrod nut. So let's do that. Alex just has a notepad document with links to useful things on streams. But how does he know what I'm going to suggest? I mean, just having that would be pretty impressive. Although I said tension locks aren't that bad. Why were they made in 240s? Because the Brighton had a CME that didn't like passenger engines with driving wheels leading. It is that simple. So when he was revamping them for the motor trains, turned them into 240s. In that case, should have made them 222s, seeing I spent half the time going backwards. Yeah. Yep. Bit of waste of money. And you, well, yeah. Oh yeah, I've still got to take these sandboxes off and stuff, haven't I? But we're not doing that tonight. Seaford's return. But if they're attached to a motor train, then they've still got leading wheels. How long has it been lost? Many years. Many years, Thomas. I'm no good at remembering the dates of the CMEs. Let me get you an actual answer. Actual answer, he can come in at some point. I'm just trying to get the actual date they were changed over as well, so I can tell you how long after then it was. Where are you? So you'll be glad to know it was Marsh almost straight away in his career, because it was 1905 they were converted. I should have known that from when I did the first one. But yeah, Marsh, very early in his career as CME. So he lasted another 6 years after doing that. Now we're going to see how much we're going to ruin this finish. I think the answer there is enough. And good evening, Christopher. How are you? I hope you are well. Definitely shouldn't be doing this. Weren't they broke at the time as well? I don't think they were broke in 1905. They certainly had been broke in the past. Hydration, still important. Depends on your definition of well, Christopher. Oh, I just chopped up a terrier. I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. One of these we don't want actually, and I think it's the first one I pulled out. That feels like the airbrush one. Go between Killing Eye, Potted History of the Elves. You would not believe how much of this I have written down in scripts for shows that are yet to be filmed. Okay, thank you. I'm sure it's to make more terrier though. Well, yes, but still, I chopped up Stepney. Good job, Marshall's only in for short periods, pulling power away for no reason. Silly sausage. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, so yeah. Consider everything else Marsh did. He was quite good at his job, really. Such as my new purchase the other day of a new ready-to-run loco. I mean, it's not a new loco, but a ready-to-run i3 is certainly new to me and not something I thought I'd ever find myself actually paying money for. Even the best CMA had a blip of design. At the end of the day, he had a reason for doing it. And since they were going from hauling suburban trains to motor trains, they could probably afford the loss of power anyway. Yeah, he didn't like names on locos. He was wrong about that. Just look at the latter bit. So now a batch of 10 blips. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Where's in there? They are. So I've got the wheels the right colour now as well. Fair point. We don't talk about the later Billington. That's not very nice. He made the L class and the K class. And we like the L and the K. Made the J's as well. Oh yeah, yeah. No G, no G. We don't want a G there. He even drew up the K2 tank. But yeah, there we go. 240. We're going to attack it with some of this now. Just try to remember what an L and a J look like. The L is the big Baltics, Remembrance. The J is a Pacific version, essentially. The J's were Pacifics that were then developed into the Baltic. There's an L on a drawing. Well, I always forget about the G, but I often need to type the name Billington. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, my wall has lots of those drawings on it. They're great. Very large tanks, never paid them any heed. I like the K's though. So I've got a pair of L's sat on top of my display cabinets. I mean, I like the look of the blitz, but it seems like it's destined to look pretty first before the mechanism was. I mean, I like the look of the blitz, but it seems it was designed to look pretty first before the mechanism was finalised. I mean, I wouldn't describe it as looking pretty. Took me long enough to stop spelling bullied as bullied. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to take the tag on trade, folks. This evening, we'll stay good night, stay safe all, have a good week, and hope you can all regroup soon. Night all. Good night, Bob. Thank you for coming. Great to have you here as always. Sleep well. Exactly, Alex. That's what I was thinking. Haha, I have got it open. Yes, Sophia, you do have this level of effort coming. What happened to the J class that L became the N15X? They stayed as the J class until they died. I fancy it's not a typical looking shunter where it looks like it's been designed for what? Yeah, it's they were horrendously ugly locos. Especially compared to the rest of the Brighton fleet, which was generally a very pretty fleet. In case you're wondering, I'm painting it to match. Obviously, it's not a slightly different shade. When I think of cute and quintessential shunters, the E2s will never even come to. No. I'd let people call a terrier a shunter instead of saying things like that about the E2. And the terrier was not a shunter. I'd rather a bit for FD to I was doing streamline that little boy. Yeah, let's go. Let's take a walk on a tingle. Being used as a shunter does not a shunter make. They are passenger engines designed for passenger work. Quintessential would be 57XS or Ginty's first comes to mind. Yeah, I agree. It goes amazing how much a touch of gold paint lifts the model. We were agree it was really useless engine overall, but I do think it a nice design quality. I mean, if it was completely useless, it wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. But it certainly didn't live up to its potential. When you consider why you butchering in a perfectly good terrier, because I can. I will show you why, Lewis. So what we have here, Lewis, is a terrier as a 240. And what we have here is a terrier as a 240. That's why. I've got one of them somewhere as well. But yes, so this one will now become Box Hill. I'm going to T-cut and toothpick the name off, but I don't have T-cut or toothpicks in here. I have transfers for Box Hill's name. I need to get some number plates though. I will get nice etched number plates from Ian McCormack, who does very nice etched Brighton number plates. You can see one of Beulah's in there still, which is the other 240. Still waiting for its livery to be finished. But basically that is 2 hours work and we have a 240 Terrier. And I am very happy with it. EB models. Ian, thank you very much for that, Alex. Very much appreciated. So, what else do we want to see done to a terrier? So what you missed at the start, Christopher, was I said to everyone, what terrier do you want to see modelled? So if there's a specific terrier you want to see modelled, now's the time to get in there and say. Indeed, Alex did share a link. It lets the mods do it, but for some reason doesn't let anyone else. I do already have Fenchurch. GWR won't be an easy one. It would if I had paint and transfers for Great Western livery. But I don't, so it's not. I have, however, taken the original pickups out of the pickup plate. And I'm wondering how hard it would be to get those to fit in there and still be able to be screwed down. The screwing down would be the hard thing to do. But yes, if anyone wants to see a specific terrier, now is the time to speak up. Or forever hold your peace. Etc, etc. Oh, interesting. They've only got one spring between them. I didn't realise that. But yeah, there will be a GWR one done and there will be a WCPR one done at some point as well. Fenchurch. I've got Fenchurch. The Fenchurch isn't going to get done. There's an Isle of Wight Terrier. They do look nice. They look very nice. There's an old Tooling Isle of Wight Terrier. Doesn't look as good. Just looking through pictures now. Isle of Wight Central one though. I'm not sure I have a picture. Short bunk and Isle of Wight Terrier just looks wrong. It does. Please don't hurt Bembridge. I'll save her. Bembridge will never be hurt. Bembridge will remain Bembridge. I bought Bembridge on purpose. I wanted this specific terrier because I grew up on a road called Bembridge Road. So Bembridge was an important loco to have. Look, there's a terrier in BR Black. It's going to get painted umber, this one, as soon as I know what one to do it as. There's an old tooling one in BR Black. It doesn't look anywhere near as good. Stepney, I've got Stepney, yeah. This is Stepney, but I have Stepney modelled already, so I don't need another Stepney. You see the problems here. I've got 662 as well. Also, I just want to point out, because this was a big thing on the thread way back in the day, this is a Hornby Terrier. And you can see that recess in the tank tops there, yeah? I always like that photo of Millwall's logo department on the sheet, and I always thought they make a nice model. That's the one I showed earlier, isn't it? Yeah. Hang on. I'm sort of ahead of you, Alan. Obviously, the transfers need doing properly. I was just trying to make sure I got sizes right for everything at this point, which evidently I hadn't. And these are only blue tacked on. But yeah, sort of ahead of you. Because I don't tend to have favourite LBSR logos, I generally go through the list and pick names I think sound cool. I mean, that's a good reason to do it. It's close to me, Wadden. Wadden is good. Could do Knoll in current. I don't even know what Knoll is in. But yes, I want to get the red lining onto Millwall properly before I do its sheet over the window, over the door. I know what I'm saying. Because I agree, it would make a very nice model. SR Wartime Black. No. For the most part, my Terriers are going to be pre-grouping. Very few of them, and only for certain reasons will they be post-grouping, such as Bembridge. Aha. The one did cop. Yeah, blooming did cop. Brighton Works, well, yeah, but Brighton Works is post grouping as well. That's BR. Would a Terrier look good in plain black? Oh yeah, right. That's not plain black on that side anymore. I like them lined, if I'm honest, Lewis. Just post a photo of Brembridge on Discord. Model is far too clean. It is. You're right. I know. 70 forward, hands down, beat Stoke's Nest. Can't beat that name. That's a good reason though. Liking the name. I'm going to go see if I've got another improved engine green one we can destroy. I actually don't. That's annoying. Bot says hydration is important. I was going to do one of the ones that were sold to Paulin and Co. Because they kept their improved engine green livery but had some interesting changes. But I don't have an improved engine green one I can destroy at the minute. Oh. Oh. I hope you can see that well enough, because I can't see, because obviously my preview's hidden behind that. Isle of Wight Central Railway, red oxide. Still with short tanks. I'm assuming white, black, white lining. I honestly don't know. Someone should do what Gary's doing, but model every own WRDX goods. I agree. Those paper stickers aren't looking too hot. Well, that's because they're not even stickers. They are held on with blue tack. They were put on there to check I'd got the lining right before printing it out. So that I knew, I wanted to make sure I'd got the curve right on the corners. I wanted to make sure I'd got the splasher right. I just never got round to doing the final ones because these are slightly wrong. The problem is, I don't think there's a lot I could do to a terrier to put it in that condition. It looks about right for the condition these old Paulin ones are in. Although I suppose that's not a million miles off red oxide. And it would be fitting for one of my southern Isle of Wight ones to become an Isle of Wight one, would it not? I think we're going to go with that. We're going to have a red terrier. I've got one. Most of the paint's come off. Hang on. Look, it's still an Isle of Wight one. It's just already lost its lettering and stuff. So that makes it a better candidate for repaint. Don't breathe in the paint. No, of course not. Only says here that the vapour may cause drowsiness and dizziness. They must have missed something off. Oh yeah, I never put the screws back in this one either, did I? I should do that at some point as well. Make sure there's nothing gonna completely fall off and destroy it. I don't think there is. This one was in quite a state when it came to me and has already had a bit of mild rebuilding. What if you're already drowsy and dizzy? Does that counteract the effects paint may cause? No. So are you not aware, Thomas? You can't buy this stuff anymore. Better head off for the night. So you got someone. Okay. Good night, William. Thank you for coming. Sleep well. And speak to you later. Is it actually dangerous, or is it the state of California dangerous? It's actually dangerous. It was the Germans this time, not the state of California. No, it's time. Must go. All the best. Keep safe. Yeah, let's say. I mentioned that it's the Germans' fault, and the man living in Germany runs off. Good night, Paderborn. Thank you for coming. Sleep well. Don't work too hard, and all that jazz. Look at me. No primer. It's not even shaken up properly. Let's do something about that bit at least. So you can't. Hornby's still trying to get it sold. Honestly, sick of them trying to think they can do what they want. No, they're not trying to get it sold at all. Hornby are the reason I know that I'm not allowed to sell it. Hornby are working on changing the formula so that it can be sold. Got to give it to them though. This pot didn't have a skin on it, so that Miko is doing the trick. That's the cancer causing thing. MEKO. And yeah, it's used in these as an anti-skinning agent. Should have been working on this. No, not last August. The August before. It's August 2020. It was reclassified and had a date for banned from sale. And of course, that was a phase it out your products now type of banning. Like, you're joking, surely the risk of killing people just so the paint doesn't get skin. Like, yeah. It's an anti-skinning agent. So it's called Meko, MEKO. Feel free to look it up. That is what's in Humbrol paints. Or Humbrol enamels. Terry looks like our favourite beat. This isn't going to dry glossy though. Much nicer than stuff on olive. I agree. So this is the sort of colour that I'd normally just give it a blast of red primer and leave it at that. But I'm out of red primer. Then put it be like that. Oh. See the clear anti-SR bias in stream. There's no anti-SR bias. Look at me modelling the Brighton and the South Eastern and Chatham. How could I be anti-SR? All these things I model would one day become the SR. Makes me glad I use acrylic. No anti-skin necessary. Well, there is. There's still an anti-skinning agent in there. It's how they stop it drying in the pot. It's just not Miko. And I'll tell you what, it works a lot better on the enamels than it does on the acrylics. But you can't get fresh air inside when you close. I mean, can't get fresh air when the enamels are closed either. While I was joking about the bath, I actually need to go. I'm super tired. Stream's a great night all. Okay, good night, Alex. Thank you for having. Thank you for being here as always. Sleep well, and I shall speak to you later. good how I can English, isn't it? Bet you all wish you could English as well as me. And look at that, we've made it to 11:30. And now we have a red terrier. So what does everyone want to see on next week's stream? But Hamiltons can gain small cracks if the metal is bent too much, surely. Well, the metal doesn't get bent. So there's that. Genuinely don't know. I'm just trying to learn. No, I gathered you genuinely don't know and you're trying to learn. But yeah, the metal generally doesn't get bent. And if it does and it's exposed to air constantly, then it's going to dry out. And the whole thing will go solid. Well, we did have a joke at the shop the other day about just how much Humbrol paints do skin over. So having this stuff in it probably isn't worthwhile. Depends on the options for next week. I mean, I'm open to most things. There's a part of me that wants to get back on with South Park Quarry, but I'm not sure on what to do with it, which is why we've not seen it on stream for so long. It's reached that point where I can sit and play with it, and I don't know what bit to actually work on next. In fact, you lot would like torturing me live, wouldn't you? I have a set of these for the inside the shed on South Park Quarry. That is a workshop equipment set. That is 00 gauge workshop tools to sit in the shed on South Park Quarry. Things like benches and stuff and step ladders need making up. You know, we've got individual spanners here. Clock for the wall. Big toolboxes. Saws. Sledgehammer. So we can do some detailing of stuff if you want me to suffer. I've got a signal box interior kit for Oak Hill as well. Thought the Metcalf signal box interior as well. Yeah! See? Signal box interior, you mentioned it. There's no way you'd print it this small, Thomas. That's the problem there. Never mind your Metcalf, Sophia. So there your bits of the thing that curve round and the levers go in. The wheel for the gates that I won't need. A chair. Clock on the wall, the desks, the stove. Yeah. There is, in fact, the workshop kit in colour. Go on, focus properly, camera. So yeah, I could suffer on stream next week. Is that a challenge, good sir? Such as phone settings can bother to give it a go. It's like a bit further along. It's not a challenge, it's a statement of fact. You cannot print a scale 4mm blooming spanner. Scale thickness as well. Trust me, Thomas, I know. If anyone can do the impossible, it's me. I often view the laws of physics as a challenge. Scale thickness, yeah, no, that'd be very hard to achieve. Currently, maybe saying 4 years when resin printers are a bit more advanced, maybe possible. Yeah. Loads up SolidWorks with malicious intent. Just remember where that copy of SolidWorks came from before you spend too long using it to prove me wrong about things. Hashtag Terriers, that's a new one. I can change the laws of physics. I will not have you telling me otherwise. Came from the same place what my files went. Indeed it did. Sharing is caring. To be fair though, how far technology has come in recent years, I would be surprised if my prediction of 4 years is accurate, even though I can't tell the future, sadly. Well, you need to work on that then, don't you? Come back next week, able to tell the future. That's your homework. And then I'll have the following week's lottery numbers, please. But yes, Sophia, do you need to watch me solder into things that can't be soldered to again? Or using metal as an insulator? Force me to work in type 40 and I can... Well, I have to pilot that instead. No. Your homework is to be able to predict the future by next week. And if you can do that, you'll be able to know whether I will ever source you a class a type 40. Well, you'll be able to predict it. So if you predict that I will, then I'll have to do it, won't I? I predict by next week I'll not be able to predict the future. Well, if that comes true, then that means you can predict the future, which will mean it's false. And if it's false, that will mean you can predict the future. So basically, whatever happens now, by next week you will be able to predict the future. Because you've stuck yourself in a paradox. Yeah, yeah, mainline Jubilee class logos. Yeah, follow the shield link because I don't know. Paradoxes are fun. I mean, they can be, especially if they cause you to be able to predict the future. Post-predicting the past is more fun. Certainly easier. But yeah, so Thomas can predict the future. We now know this because he caught himself in a paradox. That means he has to be able to. Good fun, that. But yeah, the past is a bit easier, especially if you've got evidence of what happened. The thing is, with humans, we can only predict the future accurately if we know something isn't going to happen, like not being able to predict the future. Otherwise, like, I think this will happen. I mean, yes, I believe that was Nostradamus' job. Thinking indeed is not knowing Stephen, but I don't want to know Stephen. I want to know what the lottery numbers will be. I can't tell from my picture whether the rods need painting, so I'm not going to paint them, but I am going to clean them because they're filthy. And I will have to find out whether they were painted or whether I want to just coat them in oily steel. Oops, don't do that. Dover used to have a paradox, Eastern docks and Western docks. But To be fair, I don't know who Stephen is. I just plucked the name out of the air as if I was hearing someone off camera on a sitcom. Oh, I knew what you were doing. I appreciated what you were doing. I just wanted to then make a joke out of what you were doing because, I mean, have you met me? That's what I do. I mean, I realise you haven't actually met me, but let's not bring facts into this, yeah? The city in the States has one state. The state is in North and South and two different states. East and West. Yes. Not in person, no, but we've spoken on Discord, so close enough. Spoken on YouTube as well. did you know we'd spoken on YouTube? Wheeling, West Virginia. Ah. So, you know, when people tell me these interesting things, I try and remember them to go and look them up afterwards and learn more. Sometimes I even remember to do it. Sometimes. YouTube, you've spoken. I've just been tapping keyboard buttons. No, 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 no. I have heard you speak. I attended live streams you did once upon a time. I mean, I got horrendous lag because apparently the Wi-Fi card in my laptop was dying, but that's not the point. Every one of those evenings where the Wi-Fi keeps dropping out minutes at a time, which is rather messing up my enjoyment of the live stream. Well, that sucks. That majorly sucks. I know exactly what that is like. And it really does screw with it, doesn't it? Yeah. Very hard to enjoy a live stream when you're having Wi-Fi problems. Forgot about that. Really need to get back and doing that at some point. Just wish I could have a reliable camera frame rate. Might just need a new capture device for that. I mean, honestly... Oh, come here. These Logitech cameras are dirt cheap and they're great. It's got a built-in microphone as well, but I don't use that. But this is what this one is as well. You can have them off eBay for 20-30 quid. USB, decent length of cable, integrates straight with Streamlabs because, you know, Streamlabs is owned by Logitech. Microphone quality isn't terrible either. As part of the VA that is not continuously on offside a large bay could be considered east. Ah, there we go. And if you play with the settings more than I do, you can get some absolutely fantastic results out of it. The reason I don't, before you ask, is because Streamlabs be Streamlabs and resets the settings when I do it. I have filmed a couple of videos after playing with the focus and the colour and stuff, and the results you can get is absolutely incredible. But then the next time I load Streamlabs, it's reset it all. And I'm just not about that life of redoing that every single time. You built in mine, so I might look into it. The thing is, I need a long cable to get my desktop, especially post-room rearrangements. Things go, if things go as I want them to. Well, I mean, This is the cable currently connecting me to the laptop. So I've got quite a bit of slack there. And that cable goes up this arm, where I'm putting it now, down the other side of the arm, all that loads of slack, and off into the laptop. Plus, you can get USB extension leads. And I have run this camera through one in the past. My buttons up here are connected with an extension lead, because the lead on them is super short. So yeah, there are solutions. So I don't want to hear no more excuses. You want an extension with extra power in, forget what it's called now, probably something like live USB extension. I should know which box they are in the storeroom. Well, I never had one when I did it on this camera. It didn't need it then, but yes, if you can get that, it's always a plus. Even if it doesn't really need it, it's going to give you better reliability. Christopher is quite right. Number on front buff beam needs to be painted out. Yes, but I want a different red for that. I will want a vermilion for that. This is a lot darker than what the buffer beams should be, so the buffer beams will be getting a total repaint. It's 4mm spanner cadded, now to send it to the printer. So the etching is far better for this job. Is it scale thickness, Killian? I've got some more tools for you to do afterwards. The step ladder in there as well, for example. 3.7mm long scale thickness, which I make about be 0.25mm. You know, you're probably right at 0.25mm. That sounds about right to me for what you would want. I look forward to seeing how it comes out. Carla, and there we are at 2 minutes to midnight. Like I say, I'll look into it. Might try the capture card route first, as I know of one where it's just plug it to a USB socket and you pop your HDMI in the other end and it just works. I mean, I plug my camera in, it just works. But a capture card is for capturing video from TVs and stuff and consoles, isn't it? It's about 19mm full-size thickness. Yeah, that sounds about right. For a proper spanner. Type of spanner that you smack your engine with when it doesn't work. So it's 1 minute to midnight. We're going to get some paint on these wheels, the second coat of paint on these wheels before we end. We won't get to put it back together, but you know, 2 terriers with their new identities. One of them is probably the biggest rebuild you can do to keep a terrier as a terrier. I think we've done quite well. Yeah, it should work. Cameras with HDMI out as well. Evidently, the media jump doesn't like working with me, so I need to try another thing. Could be USB cable. What I'm using though. I suppose it. Yes, your theory is sound. Hopefully, it's also video. And there we are. It is midnight. We have reached the end of the live stream where we have created a 240 terrier and a red terrier. And decided that you all want to torture me next week with some shed interior work for South Park Quarry. Which I've been looking forward to doing it since I got those. It's quite a nerve-wracking thing, working with stuff that small and fiddly. But also really exciting because I like working with stuff that's going to be hard and test me. I hope it was video. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would like to thank you all for coming. I've had a fantastic time. Well, I mean, of course I have. I'm playing with terriers. I hope you have too. All that's left for me to say is I've been Gary, this has been Let's Build, you've been awesome as always. Good night.